Welcome to part 3 of our series on our role in maintaining better mental health in our workplaces and our relationships. If you haven't checked out parts 1 and 2 yet, you're going to want to go back and check those out. But we're moving into part 3 of this series where Dr. Cath is going to lead us through some very useful information in how we can be part of maintaining good mental health in the communities that we're a part of. So you don't want to miss this video. If you've started the first 2, you want to check this one out as well. So enjoy this video from Dr. Cath.
I want to talk about the crucial connection when you're helping other people. You are the crucial connection. We often get stuck on, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to help, I feel helpless, I don't know what to do, and I really want to help. And we get stuck on, how do I fix it? How do I make them feel better? I want to tell you a couple of things. One I've said before, but it's worth repeating. The first one is there's limitations on words. Words only help so much. Can they be helpful? Yes. But they only help so much. When I watch TV, something that I often see is I see these 1-minute conversations where somebody's really down, and maybe it even goes for 2 minutes, but they're very short. Somebody's really down about something. And so they sit with their friend, their partner, their spouse, whoever it is, and they're talking to them about this thing that's really bothering them. And the person listens for a minute, and then they say this statement. And then they both stop talking, and they both walk away. And it looks like this miraculous thing has just happened. And I think because we see that happening, and we also like to be fixed, we tend to think of that as being possible. So when I just say the right things, the cameras can stop rolling, and we can both walk and do our jobs. And we tend to think that way. But there's limitations on words. Our words can be powerful. I acknowledge that. But there's so much more to it. The second thing is there's healing in community. For some of us who are a little bit more extroverted, just being around a person can make all the difference in mood. When my first baby was very, very young, I stayed home to just be a mom. Not just in the sense of it being minimal, but in the sense of not doing anything else. I just was a mom. And I was taking care of my baby. He didn't talk much. He sure cried, but he didn't talk very much. And I like talking to people. I like talk. I also like listening to people. And so one Friday night, I was at home. My husband we worked in a camp, and he was up at the building. I was at home. And I was just feeling blue. I was down. I was lonely. He finally said to me, pack up our baby and just come up to the building. There's people here. I came up to the building and walked in the door. There was somebody. I'll let you grab that. There was somebody standing right there, or walking past, and I smiled and said hello, and everything changed for me. Some of us are really wired that way, and it's really a marked thing. But even for the quieter, that need people, the presence of people less, there is still healing in community. When I say you are the crucial connection, I mean you. Without your words, without your pills, without your anything that you have to offer, just that you are a person in the room is a healing thing. If I could say that 15 different ways to convince you that just being there, just showing up, not showing up as a doctor, a mentor, a greater than, a less than, just showing up as a person, an authentic you. There's healing. Brene Brown has a lot to say about that whole authenticity thing. And that's all I'll say about that. So, limitations on your words. There's healing in community. Both of those things we need to remember. Want to talk, though, about things that you can do that can help when you show up. So you're working with somebody who is distressed. What are the things that you can remember? First thing you want to remember is don't you panic. I once had the experience of being really distressed about something. And I had done something wrong. I'd made a mistake, and I called a friend, a well-meaning friend, and I said, I made this mistake. That friend gasped, and the angst I was feeling inside exploded as they reacted to what I was saying. We don't want to do that to people. So when somebody's going to talk to you about something that's bothering them, you don't want to panic. You want to just take that in stride. As a counselor, that's a big deal for me. When my eyebrows go up or I express something that looks surprised or maybe it might be interpreted as shock, it will create a reaction in the people that are talking to me. You don't want to panic. You just want to hear them. The next thing that you want to do is you want to reassure them that you care and accept them. We're back at the non-judgmental thing. We want to care about people. We want to accept them as they are. We may need to hold them in gentle and humble accountability for something, but we want to do it in a sense of caring, humility, and acceptance. I still accept you. I don't think less of you as a person. I may hold you accountable, but I care. I don't judge. Third thing, you want to reassure them that you'll stay connected and support them through whatever they're going through. So if you will, and that's an important part of it, if they're going through a hard time, just reassure them that you're there. They can call. I said to somebody going through a hard time not very long ago, they had reached out to me after hesitating, and they told me that they'd hesitated. And I said to them, you are welcome to reach out to me as often as you feel like you need to. That was really huge to them. The other part of that is I really need to follow through. So if I say, you can reach out to me if you're troubled, I'll be there, I will support you, I'll care, I'll stay connected, then I must follow through on that. I need to be there for them. If I'm not ready to do that, then I don't want to say that. That's important. The next one, you want to normalize wherever you can. So we turned normal into a verb. So when I normalize, basically I'm saying what you're going through is normal in some way. If somebody is really struggling because they just lost their job, and they're struggling with their sense of competence or worry or those kind of things, to normalize, I might say, I would feel the exact same thing. Or I might say, I think anybody going through this would struggle with that. I'm normalizing. So many people I've heard say, I thought I was the only one. And there's a sense of loneliness. There's a sense of, I stand out as being really bad in this sense. And when I can bring that person back down to recognize that they are human and they are in a world populated by a whole bunch of humans. Doesn't make everything okay, but it does make some things more normal. And that by itself can be helpful to people. If whatever they're going through seems serious to you, they may need to go to a professional. So when I say that, and I'm going to follow up on that in a few slides here, but if they're just not connecting with you, they don't seem to be in the same reality space as you, or they're not responding to you at all, or they've been struggling and they're not getting better, you might want to look at sending them on for professional help. Unless you are a professional, then you just take care of them. And the final one, love them, support them as they figure out how they're going to live with their particular challenge. And I said that in a really intentional way. You want to love them and support them while they're figuring stuff out. So sometimes they may need to talk about the same thing over and over and over, especially if they're the kind of person that processes on the outside with their words. They need to talk through the pros and cons of a decision they're making, or how difficult this hard time they're going through is. And I need to patiently love them and support them, listen to them, care about things as they figure it out, as long as it takes for them to figure that out. Those are some things I can do to help. Those are some things you can do to help. You show up, be authentically, humbly there, and walk alongside, no judgment, loving, supporting, listening, caring. Here's some things to do or not to do. First thing, in everything that you're doing, you want to be respectful, you want to be tender-hearted, you want to be present, authentically there. When somebody is going through a hard time, I still want my words, my demeanor, my mannerisms to all speak respect to that person that's there. Somebody that has just lost their job, somebody that has just lost a child, gone through a hard thing, whatever it is, sometimes loses that sense of respect. And I can, with my actions and attitude, speak respect back to them. And that actually helps them to improve in terms of mental well-being. I want to listen to them. And I'm being a little bit repetitive here, and sometimes I do that right on purpose. I let them sort out what they need to sort out. I don't solve it for them. I don't fix it for them. I don't say that 10-second amazing statement to make them feel better. I listen. That takes patience, especially if I'm a fixer kind of person. Listen to them, let them sort it out. I want to say this. Hurting people need people more than they need words. Sometimes your words will inspire them, change their perspective, be life-giving. Sometimes your words can be helpful. But when it comes right down to it, hurting people just need you more than they need your words. Your words might be icing on the cake, but you are the cake. Next, you want to honor their experience, whatever it is that they're going through. I remember being a group leader, and I was fairly new at group leading, and we had a person. It was our first meeting, and we were doing a check around the room, and people were talking about how they were doing. And one person, we came to her, and she just talked about how she'd been suffering. She had some organic biological things going on, physical things going on, and she was just struggling. She was having such a hard time, and really hard time. And as a brand new group leader, I was just listening and just, oh my word, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do with that. And I kind of let her talk, and she finished, and okay, and moved to the next person, who happened to be a very wise woman in the room. And when I moved to the next person, she turned to the person right beside her and she said, I just want to acknowledge what you've been through. That's just really hard. And something like, I'm sorry that you've had to go through that. And she just took a moment to just sit with her in the emotion that she was going through. She didn't tell her it was going to get better. She didn't fix anything. She just acknowledged it. They honored her experience. And the next one validated her feelings. That sounds just hard. That would be hard for me. And that just sounds hard for you. Pray with them if they would like you to. Read scripture to them if they would like you to. Those are things to do or not to do. Alan Wolfeld has written I think 99 books on dealing with grief. He's a prolific writer, and I have taken some of his concepts from one main book, and I'm not going to try to say the title. It is written below in this video. He talked about companioning. And I love his concept of companioning. And though he's using it for helping somebody who's going through grief, which lots of people in our society right now are going through grief, I think it also applies just in caring for people going through a hard time, as we are right now in our current world. The Latin root word for companion, he points out, means messmate. I'm your mate in your mess. I'm a messmate. I love that word. If you are in a mess in your life, if mental health is really hard, I'm going to be your messmate. I'm coming alongside to be a companion in your grief, in your difficulty, in your struggle, whatever it is. Com in companion means with. Pan is a kind of bread that you would eat with someone, with an equal. So if I take that and I apply it to when I walk into the room when somebody's going through a hard time, I'm going to come alongside, I'm going to sit down as an equal, and I'm going to be with you, be your messmate. I'm going to listen, I'm going to sit with your emotions that you might not want to be sitting with. I might not want to be sitting with, but here we are, and I'm going to be with it, with you in it. You want to be a safe place. Often, I just want to put my arm around their shoulders and pat them on the back and say, it'll be okay. You'll be okay. And sometimes you can put your arm around their shoulders if COVID isn't an issue. You can put your arm around their shoulders and just be with them. Your presence, you showing up, present, authentic. Your presence, that's the gift you're giving. Your words might be the icing, but you are the gift. There I am being repetitive again. Here's some tips that come from Alan Wolfeld. First, be curious, don't be an expert. That's hard for me. I like to be an expert. So somebody comes in, I want to tell you what I know. Knowledge puffs up. Love builds up. Be curious. I want to understand what you're going through. I want to understand how you want to go through this. I want to understand you. I just need to be curious. I don't want to be an expert. Here's what you can do. This is what I did. This is what you can do too. Sometimes that is helpful. But first and foremost, I want to be curious. I want to understand. Second thing, learn from them. You want to learn from them, not teach them, especially with grief. I just have to say that when I work with people who are going through grief, one of the common things I hear is anger because people are giving them these pat phrases or these little pieces of advice. You don't want to do that. You want to learn from them out of curiosity rather than teaching them. You want to walk alongside them. There's that equal. I want to walk alongside them. I don't want to lead them. I don't want to pull them in my direction. And I want to be still. I don't want to move forward. Let's do this. Let's do that. I don't want to push. Go do this. Go do that. I want to be still. I want to be alongside. And I want to be a messmate in whatever it is that they're going through. A couple of other things. I want to focus on their heart, not their intellect. I don't want to speak to their frontal lobe because that's where they're thinking. That's where they would be thinking. They're feeling right now. That's a whole different part of the brain. It's called the limbic system. So I want to focus on their heart. I want to focus on their feelings. I don't want to focus on their intellect. We might get there, but for when I'm being a messmate, I just want to focus. I want to hear. I want to feel. I want to be empathetic. And I want to listen deeply with my heart, not with my head. My head may come into it. It often does with me. But I want to listen with my heart, with my spirit. I want to be there, all of me, authentically. Here's some more from Alan Wolfelt. I want to bear witness to the struggles, not direct them. When that wise woman in the group that I was leading turned to the other person and said, "That just sounds so hard. I'm sorry it happened." She was just bearing witness to the struggles. She wasn't trying to tell her what to do. She just heard it. She just witnessed it. She just gave it back to her. "This is what I heard you say. This just sounds really hard." Bear witness to the struggles. Be with them in their pain. Don't try to make it go away. Just be their messmate. Those are some thoughts from Alan Wolfelt. I alluded to this a little bit earlier. What do you do when the person that you're working with needs more than a friend? That does happen. There's a few things you want to notice or be aware of. The first is, are they posing a safety risk? Are they safe? We're going to talk about that a little bit more in another session. But I want to know that they're safe. So if there's a concern about their safety, I need to attend to their safety. If you're not sure that they're going to make good choices, you need to do something about that. They need to go beyond you. You want to refer them to a professional in some way. Or if they won't tell you that they're not going to hurt themselves or somebody else, they need some kind of help beyond you. You can go to a hospital with them. You can do something to help them. So here's some questions that you want to ask as you're considering whether they need more than a friend, or whether they need to go beyond you. First one is, how well are they functioning? So if I'm working with somebody and they're going through life, they're doing their job, reasonable competence, they're coming home, taking care of their kids or their apartment or whatever it is, they take care of their dog. If they are functioning fine, we probably can continue talking. If it's affecting function, I would get more concerned about that. Another question you want to ask yourself is, how long has the struggle been going on? If it's been going on for a long time, we might want to talk about what they want to do with that. And the third question is, are they getting better? Now, some of that depends on that first question, how they're functioning, but are they getting any better? Am I helping? If I'm not helping, I might want to think about that a little bit more. So those are some things to consider as you're thinking about whether they need more than a friend. So this is complicated with COVID. You cannot, right now, unless they're in your bubble, you can't touch people, you can't reach out, you can't put your arm around the shoulders. And sometimes you can't even be in the same space. Some of us are at home with nobody. Some of us are at home with a few people or with one other person. For some of us, that is good, and for some of us, it's not so good that we're at home with other people. So what do you do with that? Here are some ways that you can, if you're wanting to help people, that you can reach out. With the current reality, in the work that I do counseling, it's not best for me to be seeing people in person. So I make a lot of use of virtual space. So we will do some talking over, I don't use Skype, I use a medical app when I do it, but we can do talking over virtual space, FaceTime, whatever it is that you have available to you. You cannot connect physically. You can't be in the same room, but you can still read what's happening on their face. You can still listen well. You can still say, this is what I'm hearing. I acknowledge you're going through that. There are still groups online. I lead a group online, and we still talk about how we're doing. We listen to each other. We remember each other. We work with each other. We talk with each other. I think virtual, the video part of it, is a really big thing that lets us at least connect in a small way. Phones also work. People can connect voice to voice, and while you can't read body language, you can still read their voice, and you can still listen and care that way. For some who are lonely, grocery shopping might be the thing that helps you. You might not be able to talk to anybody else in the store, but you sure can check in with the clerk and see how she's doing. You can't pour your heart out, but you can at least have that contact. You can get into that physical space when you go grocery shopping. If you need to do that, take advantage of that. Not everybody can do that. But those are a few ideas that I have when I think about things that you can do to reach out and connect to other people. I think that those technological things are probably absolutely key. One of the things that I've said many times is I'm glad that this didn't happen 15 years ago, because I think we would have been much more separated out, because we wouldn't had the virtual space. We would have had the phone, but we wouldn't have had the face-to-face thing. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for video kind of stuff that we can do as well.
Thank you for watching this final video in our series on our part in maintaining good mental health in our relationships, in our communities, in our workplaces. I hope that you got a lot out of it. Please subscribe to our channel. We're going to have new mental health videos coming out throughout the course of this next year with various people coming in and speaking on these topics. So if you're interested in this, you're going to want to subscribe and continue to watch. Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. Again, in the description box below, if you're interested in being involved, if you're interested in more information in what we're doing, there's a link to our website. You can go to that. If you scroll down and click the contact button, it will open up a form where you can contact us, and we could talk to you about what we're offering and how we can help you on your journey to better mental health. So let's all journey together in moving toward better mental health.